All right. Hey, what's up, guys? We are live. Let me tweet out the stream really quick, and then we can get into it if it's going to let me. All right. So, let's go over what we know so far. So let's go to Fantasy Labs. Yo, what up? Still tilting a little bit from last night, not going to lie, with that blowout. Luka and Porzingis not getting any fourth quarter run. Brutal stuff, but again, there's always another day, so let's see if we can bounce back here. Okay. Again, there's not a whole lot of big news really we're waiting on. The biggest news I would say we're waiting on is the availability of Jonas Valanciunas as well as the starting lineup for the Utah Jazz. So, yeah, obviously if JV's out, we can look to Jaren Jackson Jr. as a play, possibly Caboclo, but again, he got limited, only played the backup to JJJ. And then the Utah starting lineup, right? Like if Moutier doesn't start, I'm a bit worried about his minutes, right? They have Joe Ingles. They could move in the starting lineup, maybe move Donovan Mitchell to the point. So that's some pretty big news as well. DeAndre Hunter got ruled out, so there is some minutes to go around for those Atlanta Wings. I'm not super excited about those guys. There's not a whole lot of great value, so I am considering guys like Cam Reddish, guys like Evan Turner. Kevin Huerter will be available, but he's going to be limited to about 15 to 20 minutes, so don't know if I want to go there. D'Angelo Russell is probable. I do like him, but I'm just worried that he's going to be somewhat limited. I mean, just because Steve Kerr is limiting Draymond right now, and I know it's only a thumb injury, but I'm just a little bit worried. If I knew D'Angelo Russell was going to play 35 minutes in a close game, I would love him, but I don't know if we're going to get those type of minutes. So I like him, but he's a bit riskier now, in my opinion. Again, JV and Kyle Anderson are game time decisions. So if Kyle Anderson misses two, then we look to a guy like Solomon Hill, who filled in nicely as a value guy, but his price went up. What else we got? Luke Kennard is questionable. Not a huge deal, but maybe like Bruce Brown or Galloway would become viable. Let's see, Magic, same starting lineup. AD probable, Kuzma probable. Parsons is out. What's new, right? So Hawks are starting Young, Bembry, Reddish, Jabari Parker, and Jones. Again, D'Angelo Russell probable. We don't know what the minutes are going to be like. I'm a little bit worried on his minutes. Suns, we got the same starting lineup there. D'Angelo Russell will start, okay. We don't know what the minutes are like. Chris Dunn will remain in the starting lineup. I do have a good amount of interest in those Bulls guards. They just seem underpriced in a good spot. So guys like Satoransky, guys like Dunn in the cheap end, I do have a lot of interest in. Even Levine is a spend up rate. He's been pretty good. So we'll talk about those guys in a bit. But let's get to the over-unders and the spreads here. So 10 games, Golden State, Charlotte at 212.5 with Charlotte favored by 2.5. Again, if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet the over there. Bucks, Pistons at 224 with Bucks favored by 9. Suns, Magic at 213.5. Suns favored by 2. Nets, Hawks at 229 with the Nets favored by 3.5. Heat, Celtics at 209.5 with the Celtics favored by 3.5. Pacers, Thunders at 210 with the Pacers favored by 1. Grizzlies, Bulls at 222.5. They just took the spread out the board there. Timberwolves, Dallas at 230.5, the highest of the day. Dallas favored by 5. Praying for no blowout here, right? I'm going right back to the wall with Luka and Porzingis. Lakers, Jazz at 212 with the Jazz favored by 2.5, and then Kings, Blazers at 217 with the Trailblazers favored by 4.5 points. So again, 10 games. We got a lot to talk about. We got 35 minutes to lock, so we'll go team by team. Then we'll get to questions at the end. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the live streams, if you enjoyed the YouTube videos, would appreciate if you hit that like button. Again, it's all free content. I love doing it, but again, would appreciate if you guys could hit that like button. So let's start team by team, or we'll start with Golden State. So with Draymond back, with Kevon Looney now in the rotation, the bigs, I'm just not targeting, right? They got Draymond. I mean, they will run him at the point a bit here too. But they got, Pascal they can use, like Willie Cauley-Stein, Spellman, Chris. It's just too many bodies now where I don't even want to take a shot on those bigs. I mean, if Kevon Looney's minutes went up to like 20, I would maybe consider him here at 3.4K, right? But I don't think that news is out yet. But really, the one guy I'm interested in is D'Angelo Russell at 8.5. And I do like him a good amount. It's just, I don't know what his minutes going to be like. He hasn't played a game in like almost a month. I know it's only a thumb injury, so he's probably still in good condition, but I'm just a little bit worried. I still think he could crush the salary, right? It's a good spot here against Charlotte. He was in my original build, but right now I don't have him in. I'm just a little bit worried about his minutes. I think you can definitely go there for GPPs if you're making multiple lineups. Again, the upside is huge on him, but that's really all I have for Golden State. It's really D'Angelo Russell, and that's it. Possibly Kevon Looney if his minutes go up, but that's all I got for you. On the Charlotte side, it's pretty simple for me. I mean, the bigs, the minutes are all over the place. The Biyombo, Zeller, Marvin Williams, you can't trust it. Same thing with PJ Washington, right? The secondary pieces, it's just too hard to trust. The minutes are all over the place. It's a good spot, but on this slate, I don't know if I can do it. So really the main targets here are Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier. I'm going to slightly lean towards Rozier for the $1,200 discount. He's going to play mid-30s minutes in a close game. Again, probably going to have D'Angelo Russell defense, one of the worst defenders. So Graham, Rozier, I do have some interest in an up-tempo game. I would slightly go Rozier over Graham, but both will play mid-30s minutes in a close game. So that's kind of my interest in that first game. It's D'Angelo Russell, it's Graham, it's Rozier. Not really interested in the secondary pieces. As far as Phoenix, Orlando, looks like Rubio is going to be good to go. So he's viable, right? He's been pretty consistent. My best guess in a close game, he gets into the 30s minutes. So he's an okay option there, 6.7. Booker is okay as well. It's not my favorite play. Rubio playing does limit his upside. So just an okay play. Not super excited about. Kelly Oubre, very up and down. He can only go there for GPPs. Sarge and Kaminsky, probably not for me. The prices are coming up, and we got Cheat Diallo now back. So I think Diallo maybe gets like 15 or so minutes, and that eats into Kaminsky, that eats into Sarge. So not super excited about a lot here on the Phoenix side. If we move on to Orlando, kind of the same. Isaac's been okay, but his price is up. Fournier's been really good, but kind of too scoring dependent. I get it if you want to go there, right? He's been really consistent, but probably not for me on the slate. Aaron Gordon, I do have some interest in him, right? He's going to play low 30s minutes in a close one at 5.9K. He's under 6K, so I think he's viable. Markelle Fultz, too, at 5.7. He's the guy that is just playing consistent minutes. He's been really consistent fantasy-wise, too. So probably going to play 30 minutes, probably going to get you 25 to 35 in that range. So he's a viable option in the mid-range. And that's really it. Don't know if I want to go Birch there at that price. Terrence Ross, I guess, is a GPP shot at 5.2, but the price is coming up on him. Augustine actually is somewhat interesting here, 4.1K. He's a guy that's going to come off the bench, probably play around 25 minutes. And we know when he's playing well, he does have like 30 fantasy point upside at this price with not a whole lot of great value. I think he's definitely someone you can consider. But that's really it for the Orlando side. So let's move on to Milwaukee, Detroit. Milwaukee, so this is interesting. Just from what I've been seeing around the industry, it seems like Giannis is going to be pretty low owned tonight. I think everyone's going to go to Luka, which, don't have an issue with Luka at all. Right now, I currently have both these guys in my lineup. I'm going very stars and scrubs here. I'm taking some shots on some guys that I probably shouldn't, but I really like the idea of a low-owned Giannis. Now, I don't know if I do it for cash games, but man, he has just been crushing this year. The game against Charlotte, 20 minutes, blew out, had 45 fantasy points. The game against the Knicks, 22 minutes, it blew out. He had 54 fantasy points. If Detroit can keep this game close, I think he gets mid-30s minutes. And yeah, we know he has 70, 80 fantasy point upside. The matchup is okay here. So I do have a lot of interest in Giannis, and I think he goes very low-owned. So I like that for GPPs, right? Anytime you get a low-owned Giannis, I'll take advantage of that. I think the flocks go to Luka. Again, I think they're very similar. Right now I have both. I'm taking a full stars and scrubs approach and taking some shots on some really cheap guys. But yeah, I love Giannis. I don't know if you go there for cash games, but man, I think if that game stays close, he could crush that price. The secondary pieces, Bledsoe and Middleton, are okay. I think I'll slightly lean towards Middleton. He started that last game, only played 18 minutes because, again, the game blew out. I think in a close game, he gets around 25 to 30, so he's a viable option. Don't mind Bledsoe either. The cheap plays with everyone back, kind of not for me. I mean, Brook Lopez, I think he's going to be back. Yeah, he's available, so that takes Robin Lopez fully out of play. That's about it, really. It's Giannis, who I like because I think he's going to be a low-owned spend-up. Bledsoe and Middleton are okay, and that's really it. On the Detroit side, I'm a little torn here at Drummond. I like the price. I think he plays 35 minutes or so in a close game. And I think he can definitely get you there. The concern is Brook Lopez. He's not a traditional big. Brook Lopez will stand at the three-point line a lot, so that limits Drummond's rebounds a little bit, I guess, right? Because Brook Lopez is going to be standing on the three-point line a lot. So, that's just a slight concern, but I do like the price there, so I'm a little torn on him. Again, right now I don't have him just because my roster construction, I have both Luka and Giannis in my lineup. I'm taking some shots, again, on some really cheap guys, but don't mind Drummond. Again, I like that price. Blake Griffin's even okay because of the price, 6.6K. He had a pretty solid game there against Cleveland. Again, it blew out. He only played 24 minutes. Still had 32 fantasy points in that time. So that price definitely makes him in play. The secondary pieces, I think I would only consider them if Luke Kennard misses. I don't think we have that news yet. If Luke Kennard misses, maybe D. Rose gets a little extra run, who is a guy that can get you there in limited time. So wouldn't hate going there, 5.5K. Bruce Brown Jr., even at 4.5, would probably play some more minutes. He would be someone I would consider. Same with Galloway, but again, these are pretty low usage guys. So that's kind of my thoughts with Detroit. It's Drummond and Blake. I think they're definitely viable because of their prices. I'm not saying they're amazing plays, but I definitely think they're in play because of their price tags. And then possibly, D. Rose or Bruce Brown if Luke Kennard misses. And that's really it for Detroit. Miami, Boston. This game in general is just not super appealing for DFS purposes. Two really good defensive teams that play at a slow pace. So Jimmy Butler, I know he had a triple-double at 7.3K. He had 62 fantasy points last night. So obviously he's a guy that can get you there in any matchup. I think if you're playing him, you're kind of betting on the talent here at 7.3K. So don't have an issue if you want to go Jimmy. It's just probably not going to be the way that I go on this slate. Let's see. Bam Adebayo at 7.2K. Kind of the same thing, right? I like the price, but it's a tough matchup. Now, Goran Dragic is going to be out for, I think, a couple more games here. So that does open up a little bit here. Winslow got more minutes in the last game. Played 35 instead of about 30 he was playing before. And then Kendrick Nunn got a huge boost. Played 39. The game did go to overtime, though. So I think Nunn and Winslow are viable mid-tier options. Just not my favorite in a tough spot. Again, Hero is kind of the short end of the stick there. Only played 18 minutes, so I don't think we can go there. And an interesting GPP shot here is Kelly O in a revenge game spot at 4.2. Did play 35 minutes, right? The minutes are all over the place for him, at least. 31, 32, 24, 25, 6, 35. So if he gets like 25 to 30 minutes, I think he's a pretty solid cheap option. I just don't know if we can expect that. So, he's only in play there for GPPs because of the minutes. And that's really it on the Miami side. On the Boston side, it's just not a whole lot I'm interested in. I know Marcus Smart's out, so maybe Brown, Tatum get a little extra run. Wanamaker might get a few more minutes. The issue is they have guys like Semi Ojeleye. They have like Carson Edwards that might get run. So they do have other guys that can fill in. So no one really stands out as a great play still with Marcus Smart out. I think like Tatum and Brown are okay, but probably not the way that I go. I think Cantor for GPPs, just the minutes are not secure, right? If I knew he was going to play 20 to 25, I would like him, but don't know if we can expect that. So this the Boston side, honestly, it's kind of a fade for me. Just no one stands out as a really good play here in a tough matchup against Miami. Brooklyn, Atlanta, so I do have some interest in this game. Still no Kyrie. Dinwiddie's price is up, but I still think he's playable in the spot. He's going to play 35 minutes in a close game. We know he's their go-to guy. And again, it's a good spot. So I think he's still playable. I think he goes somewhat lower owned on the slate. I think the flocks are definitely going to go to guys like Donovan Mitchell. I've heard Damian Lillard's name. So I think those guys will be pretty popular. I think Dinwiddie goes a bit lower owned, but I still like his upside here in a good spot. So wouldn't mind pivoting there in tournaments. Jarrett Allen's okay, but again, they got DeAndre Jordan they can use. So I just think he's an okay option. Taurean Prince does intrigue me here at this price. It's a revenge game spot, and the minutes have been consistent for him. 33, 29, 33, 32. He's kind of the number 2 in the offense. He's a bit up and down, for fantasy purpose-wise, right? 34, 15, 23, 32, but it's a good spot. So I'm not crazy about this play, but I think he is someone I am at least considering on the slate. And then that's really it. Joe Harris, I'll pass. Temple, DeAndre Jordan, not really for me. So that's kind of it. I really do have a good amount of interest in Dinwiddie as a pivot off of some of those higher owned guys. And then kind of Taurean Prince is the secondary piece there in a revenge game spot. On the Atlanta side, so there is some interesting plays here. I think Trae Young only for GPPs, right? Just because he got, Luka and Giannis for a bit more, who I just think are a lot safer. But Trae Young can get you 60 to 70 fantasy points in this spot. So he's a guy I would only look to as a low-owned shot for GPPs. Jabari Parker, don't mind him here at 6.4. The price is coming down. We'll probably get around 30 minutes in a close game. They got a pretty good spot here against Brooklyn. And we know the upside is there when he's playing really well, right? He had 64 fantasy points at one night. So don't mind Jabari at 6.4. Bembry's going to start at 5K. Again, we don't really know what the minutes are going to be like, but I assume if he starts, he probably gets maybe 30 or so. So he's a viable option, but the price is up, so he doesn't stand out as like a great play. I do still have some interest there. Kevin Huerter is going to play about 15 or so minutes at 4K. I don't know if I want to do it. It's a risky situation just because, again, the minutes are capped. Guys I actually am considering, again, which is gross here on the slate, are the secondary Atlanta pieces. No Allen Crabbe, again, no DeAndre Hunter. He was playing about 30 to 35 minutes a game, so those minutes have to go somewhere. Again, I think Huerter picks up about 15, but other guys are going to have to play, and I think those other guys would be Cam Reddish and Evan Turner. Now, I know, these are really gross plays. Cam Reddish is starting. He's just a terrible basketball player from what I've seen. But he's 3.4K, and if he starts, I think he gets 25 to 30 minutes, and I'm just hoping, he can get like 20 to 25 fantasy points. So, yeah, really gross play, but he opens up things for me to get like Giannis, for me to get Doncic, even Evan Turner too, right? I think he gets a little more run, maybe 20, 22 minutes, somewhere around there. Again, really gross. You're not going to feel great about it, but it opens up things to get those studs in your lineup. So those are guys I'm actually considering. I know, really don't feel good about it, but it allows me to get those stars. So Reddish, Turner, don't hate it, but I'm not going to feel great. Trae Young is a GPP contrarian option. Jabari, I kind of like that. Bembry, but his price is up. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here for the Atlanta side. As far as the Pacers and OKC, it's pretty simple for me. It's Sabonis and Brogdon at the top. Those are really the only guys I'm interested in. Sabonis, revenge game narrative 8.3. He's really consistent. He's going to play around 35 minutes in a close game. Probably going to get you somewhere between 38 to 45 fantasy points, right? He's really consistent, so don't hate it if you want to go there. Brogdon at 7.7, same thing, right? He's going to play 35 or so minutes in a close game. He's been really consistent. So those guys stand out as pretty solid cash game options, Sabonis and Brogdon. The other options like Lamb, Turner, TJ Warren, I don't have a strong take, but probably not for me on the slate. The bench guys I'll pass. So that's really it on the Pacers side. On the OKC side, not a whole lot I'm excited about, honestly. Like, Schroeder is always a guy I look to for GPPs, but his price is way up to 6K now where there's not enough meat on the bone for me. Steven Adams had a couple back-to-back solid games, but his price is up. Like SGA, Chris Paul, and Gallinari are all just okay. No one ever stands out as a really good play. So OKC, again, if you want to play one of those guys in the starting unit or Schroeder off the bench, I don't hate it, but they just don't stand out as great plays. Last four games here. So Memphis, Chicago. This is the trickiest spot here just because there's a lot of news up in the air with the availability of Jonas Valanciunas and with the availability of Kyle Anderson. This is pretty big because if Kyle Anderson misses 2 and Jonas Valanciunas misses, then a guy like Solomon Hill picked up the start and played, 33 minutes? Now, I would not chase that game with 40 fantasy points. If he starts, if there's no JV and there's no Kyle Anderson, I still think he starts and is a decent option at 4.7K, but I would not expect him to get 40 fantasy points again. He's a low usage guy, so I think he would be someone I would consider if both those guys are out, but again, I would not expect 40 fantasy points from him. I think that was more of an outlier game. Now, Jonas Valanciunas himself at 7.9, it's only a GPP dart throw, right? It's a good spot here against Chicago, but the price is way up. He's going to be, I think, maybe less than 1% owned just because, again, the availability of him, we don't know if he's going to play or not. So if your guy's making multiple lineups, I wouldn't hate taking a shot on him in one just because, again, it's a really good spot here against Chicago, but the price is way up. Again, would only consider him because of the really low ownership that I would expect if he does play. Still no John Morant, so Tyus Jones has been starting and playing about 25 to 30 minutes. I think he's an okay option. I liked him in that 3 3 to 4K range. Now he's at 5.2. Doesn't stand out as like a great play. De'Anthony Melton off the bench has been solid, but I don't know if we can expect this level of production to continue. He's been really good. 35 and 32 fantasy points in limited time, 23 and 25 minutes. If you want to continue to ride that hot streak, you can. Again, I don't hate it. I just don't think we can expect him to be this productive in this small of time. Now, if they start Melton at the point, then I would have a bit more interest, because then I think he gets minutes closer to 30. So, yeah, don't hate Melton. I just don't know if we can expect that level of production to continue. Jaren Jackson Jr., you guys know how I feel about him. It's just, this guy is such a headache for DFS. I hate seeing him on slates, because if he stays out of foul trouble, he can definitely get you there. Like, he can have a big game for sure, but he's always in foul trouble. So it's just like, it's such a headache trying to roster this guy that I get it if you want to take the shot, right? It's just too risky for me. He's literally in foul trouble probably 60 to 70% of the game. So, yeah, an interesting, like really, really low-owned shot for GPPs if Jonas Valanciunas misses is a guy like Caboclo, because again, Jaren Jackson Jr. always gets in foul trouble. Now, Caboclo strictly played the backup 5. He didn't play alongside JJJ at all. But again, we know Jaren Jackson Jr. can't keep his hands to himself. So if JV misses, I think he's an interesting tournament shot there at 3.7K. You're kind of just banking on the fact that JJJ will get in foul trouble. Jay Crowder's okay at 5K. Again, he's going to play consistent minutes. Doesn't stand out as a great play, but I get it if you want to go there. Seems like a safe option. Grayson Allen even has been getting more run, right? 30 and 27 minutes. He's just not a super high usage guy. He's a guy you can take a shot on, but you're not going to feel great about it. And that's really it. So Kyle Anderson, too, he's listed as questionable. If he plays, I think he's an interesting play there at 3.2K, but I don't know if we're going to get that news in time before lock for the main slate. So that's really it for the Memphis side. Again, we got a lot in the air right now. On the Chicago side, there actually is a good amount I like here. So LaVine at the top, have no issue if you want to go there, right? We know he's going to shoot the ball a ton. He's their main guy. The minutes are up. It's a good spot. So, again, no issue with Zach LaVine. My main interests here are the cheaper guards. With Satoransky at 5.2, I talked about in my video, 35, 30, 34 minutes. He's a guy that will fill up the stat sheet, right, with those assists, with the rebounds, and it's a pretty good spot. So I do have some interest in Satoransky. I like him a good amount at that price. And same with Chris Dunn. Going to continue to start, play probably around 30 minutes. And he's a guy that doesn't necessarily have to score to get you there, right? Another guy that can get you blocks, steals, assists, rebounds, and the price makes him in play. So I like Dunn. I like Satoransky a good amount. I even think you can play them both together in the same lineup. Kobe White is a shot for GPPs, right? If he's hot, they'll leave him in. If not, he'll probably play around 20 minutes, so don't hate him either. And then, Wendell Carter Jr. is okay at 6.5K just because the minutes, he's been playing really consistent minutes. The price, though, is just okay. So, yeah, Chicago side, there's a lot to like from me. I really like Satoransky. I really like Dunn. I think White as a GPP option. I think LaVine is really solid. Again, he's playing huge minutes. He's shooting the ball a ton. So that's where I kind of stand there with Chicago. There is a good amount I like there. Minnesota, Dallas, there is a lot I like here. On the Minnesota side, it's Towns at the top as an interesting GPP play. I don't think he's going to be pretty popular, but I think everyone's going to go to, I think the 3 guys that are going to be the most popular tonight are going to be Luka, are going to be Donovan Mitchell, and maybe Damian Lillard. I've heard a lot of people talk about those 3 guys, so I don't have an issue with any of those guys. I just think that's going to lower the ownership a lot on these other studs, like Karl-Anthony Towns. I think he probably goes maybe 10 to 15% owned. This is a pretty good spot. Again, the highest over-under of the day. So don't have an issue there. Again, he's a contrarian spend up, kind of like a Trae Young, right? Wiggins has been solid at 7.8K. I'm not a Wiggins guy, but I get it if you want to go there. Again, an up-tempo game. Jeff Teague is just okay at 5.7. Going to come off the bench, probably play 25 to 30 minutes. I think he's a safe option. Doesn't stand out as a great option. That's really it. The secondary pieces, don't think I want to go there on this slate. So let's move on to Dallas. Dallas is a lot to like here from me, at least. I'm going right back to the well with both Luka and with Porzingis. Luka, again, I'm still built tilting from last night, right? It was like a 4 or 5 point spread there against New Orleans, and it blew out. He didn't get any fourth quarter run. Porzingis got in foul trouble and then did not get any fourth quarter run. So Luka in 28 minutes had 65 fantasy points. That was a really good spot against the Pelicans. This is a really good spot against Minnesota. So I'm going right back to the well here. I like him a lot as a spend up. Again, I think Giannis goes very low owned compared to Luka. So if you want to pivot to Giannis from Luka, I don't hate that idea. Again, I'm going really stars and scrubs and plugging both Luka and Giannis in my lineup. I'm taking some shots and some guys I probably shouldn't, but yeah, I love the upside in Luka, and I like Porzingis too at 6.9K. Again, in 18 minutes against the Pelicans, he had 26 fantasy points. He got in foul trouble and did not see any fourth quarter run. If he doesn't get in foul trouble and the game stays close, he probably gets 30 to 35 minutes, in which case he crushes that salary. So this is a good spot. Again, up-tempo game, the highest over-under of the day. I don't mind going right back to the wall with Kristaps. The price went up a little bit, but I still think he's a solid option. I get it if you don't want to go there, right? Kristaps has been not that great recently. It's just the price tag here. So he's not been shooting the ball well. 4 of 13, 0 of 8, 2 of 11. If he gets a game where he shoots the ball well, we know we can get you there. So I get it if you don't want to go there completely. But right now, I'm plugging both Luka and Porzingis in the game, or in my lineup. And with my luck, that game will probably blow out, right? So, yeah, those are the guys I'm really looking at are the studs in this game. Hardaway, the price is up, probably not for me. The bigs, I mean, Powell and Kleber will split the time. Maybe one of those guys has a decent game, right? They're going to have to play big against Towns, but no one really stands out as a great play with those secondary pieces. So it's Luka, it's Towns, and I like both those guys a good amount. Or Luka and Porzingis and Towns even. On the Lakers side, honestly, not a whole lot I like here. LeBron and AD at the top are okay contrarian plays. I think those are only guys I would consider on the late slate, right? On the main slate, don't know if I want to do it. I just like the upside a bit more with a guy like Luka, with a guy like Giannis for a couple thousand more compared to LeBron and AD in a tough spot. These are guys that I think I would consider in the late game where I guess I would slightly lean towards AD at a discounted price to LeBron, but yeah, that's like what I got for the Lakers. The bigs, McGee and Dwight are okay. I might slightly lean towards Dwight for the $500 savings. Again, he's a guy who'll probably play around 20 minutes. I think he's a pretty solid, safe option, or cheap option, I should say, at 3.6K. Rondo is an intriguing play, but the minutes are all over the place, 19, 11, 18, 25. If he gets that high end, I would like him. If not, don't know if he can get you there. So he's someone I would consider maybe on the late slate. He's a riskier option just because of the minutes. If he gets those minutes, I think he can definitely get you there. And that's really it for the Lakers side. So let's move on to Utah. This is the big question mark is we don't know what the starting lineup's going to look like. So we'll start with the cheap guys, right? Moutier is a guy that I think is going to be pretty popular. Now, I definitely have some interest in him. I just don't know what the starting lineup's going to be. If he doesn't start, then I probably don't go there, because I think he gets maybe 15 or so minutes off the bench. I think there's a decent shot that they start Donovan Mitchell at the point. They move Joe Ingles in the starting lineup, and they could do that. And if that's the case, Donovan Mitchell gets a huge boost. He already is going to be one of the most popular plays in the slate there at 7.1K. With no Mike Conley, there is more usage to go around. So you got to like Donovan Mitchell there at 7.1K. I think he's a pretty safe option. Gobert even at 7.5K. It's a tough spot, but he's a guy that will play 35 minutes in a close game, so don't mind him. Again, I think it's Donovan Mitchell as a safe option. He's going to be really popular for cash games. Bogdanovich, probably not for me. Ingles would be intriguing if he starts here at 4.9K. If he starts, I think he probably gets into the 30s minutes where, again, he's been a bit up and down, but at 4.9K, I think he would be viable. Royce O'Neal, a very, very low usage guy, but maybe he gets a little extra run. He's a guy you can consider. You're not going to feel great about it, kind of like those Atlanta guys, right? Dante Exum even, maybe they could start him. So, again, this is the big question mark on the slate is who Utah is going to start. If Moutier starts, I think I would go there at 3.2K. Because if he starts, I think he gets 20, 25-ish minutes, maybe a little bit more. And at this price, I think he would be a solid cheap option. Now, if he doesn't start, I don't know if I'll go there. So that's a big question mark. Again, the Utah side, I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be one of the most popular plays. Moutier, depending on whether or not if he starts. Last game here, Sacramento-Portland. So we got the question mark here is Bogdanovich, currently listed as questionable. Again, he's been really struggling with that hamstring. He's even talked about it, how he's not himself right now on the court, and they've been limiting his minutes. So I am concerned with him. I don't know if I would go there. I think there's a decent chance he rests or doesn't play to hold him out. Buddy Hield's already been playing huge minutes. Going to play around 40 in a close game. No issue if you want to go there, right? He's going to shoot the ball a ton. Holmes is okay at that price. Bielitsa is okay. Maybe those guys get a little extra run with no Bogdan. I think maybe a guy like Yogi Ferrell or Justin James might get a bit more run with no Bogdan, but I just wouldn't feel great about it, right? So that's all I got. Not a whole lot I'm excited about on the Sacramento side. On the Portland side, I think Lillard is a guy that's been talked about a decent amount here at 8.1K. I get it if you want to go there, right? It's a decent spot. He's underpriced. He'll play 35 minutes in a close game, so I have no issue if you want to go there. Again, I think he's going to be pretty popular on the slate. CJ is an interesting pivot off Lillard. Whiteside's okay. I still think he's a little pricey. And that's all I got, really. The cheap guy's not for me. So that's what I got. Let me check Twitter. We got about 10 minutes to lock. And then we can get to questions at the end. Let's see. Luke Kennard ruled out. Okay, so that Kyle Anderson out. Jonas Valanciunas will play. Okay, so Jonas Valanciunas playing, that takes me off JJJ. Probably off of Solomon Hill as well. Jonas Valanciunas himself is an interesting GPP option, but again, his price is up. With no Luke Kennard, they're starting Bruce Brown and Svi Mikhailuk. Svi Mikhailuk is a very, very low usage guy. I wouldn't be super excited about it. He's probably min-price, right? Yeah, 3.2K. He's an okay option. Again, he's kind of in that tier of like those gross Atlanta wings, right? Like you're not going to feel great about it, but you got to hope he can get you like 15 to 20. So don't hate him. Bruce Brown probably gets a little more run there, 4.5. I think he's an okay option. I think D Rose might get a little more run as well for the Pistons. So let's get to some questions here. Again, we got about 10 minutes to lock. You making a mistake taking Porzingis, DK? Maybe. Again, I know he's been bad, but I still like that price in the matchup. George Hill's been solid. Any Carmelo interest? Not really. Thoughts on Heat guards? I think it's Kendrick Nunn and Justice Winslow will probably play consistent minutes once again. It's not really the best spot, but I think those guys are definitely playable in the mid-range. And then Butler, again, he's a cheap price, but it's a tough spot. So you're kind of banking on the talent there if you play Jimmy at 7.3K. No issue if you want to go Jimmy. No issue if you want to go Winslow or Kendrick Nunn. I don't like anyone at center tonight. Yeah, center's not too good, honestly. Like, I have Kristaps in my center position right now. Other guys I was considering was like a Dwight Howard for cheap at 3.6K, but there's just not a whole lot that you're going to feel great about. I like Hero. He won't have back-to-back games, 10 minutes until first lock. And then, okay. Dang, Dwight at 3.6K. Yeah, exactly. So I think Dwight, you're not going to really feel great about it, but I think he can get you 15 to 25 fantasy points at that price. So I think I would slightly lean towards Dwight over those cheap Atlanta guys. Might have to plug Dwight in at center. Yeah, again, I think he's an okay cheap option. Porzingis, Ingles, Lillard, or Griffin, Satoransky, Lillard. I think I'll go Griffin, Satoransky, Lillard there, just because we don't know what the Jazz starting lineup's going to be. And something else to bring up about Porzingis is he will be in the lineup, and this is his first time playing a back-to-back, but he only played 18 minutes again because of foul trouble issues. So Draymond Green, he's going to play 27 minutes, right, at most. That's what Steve Kerr said. And they have a bunch of bigs. They have D'Angelo Russell now back, so not really excited about Draymond Green. Joe Ingles, I would have some interest in there if he starts. Again, I don't know if we're going to get that news before lock. We got news here. Rick Carlisle will monitor Kristaps' minutes closely on his first back-to-back tonight, but there's no strict limit. He barely broke a sweat last night, Carlisle said, referring to Porzingis. So, yeah, that concerns me a little bit, honestly, that he'll monitor his minutes. I don't think Kristaps then is going to play 35 minutes, so yeah, I might try and get him out now. I don't know. It worries me a little bit, honestly. That quote does worry me a little bit. He only played 18 minutes, though. We'll see. Chandler Parsons, Tombstone, really questionable. That's good. Let's see. If I plug Dwight in instead of Kristaps, and then try to upgrade elsewhere. Oh, Danny Green. Oh, for something I mean, Danny Green. Yeah, you gotta hope that you gotta hope he knocks down his shots at 4K. He's a pretty low usage guy. He's a he's one of those guys you kind of consider. You're just not gonna feel great about it. Like really scoring dependent. You gotta hope he knocks down those threes. Porzingis, Russell, Dunn, Lillard, Griffin, Satoransky. I think that's a pretty solid core. Again, D'Angelo Russell, we don't know what the minutes are going to be like. It was only a thumb injury, so there is slight concern about his minutes. Fave Memphis players, not a whole lot I'm interested in with now Jonas Valanciunas being back. I guess DeAnthony Melton coming off the bench, but yeah, Satoransky, Reddish, Brown Jr., Hill, Porzingis, Dinwiddie, ABC, Winslow thoughts. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good option. You're fading Luka, which is a bit risky for sure. Giannis, Luka, again, really tough call. I think Luka is going to be a lot higher owned. I currently have both right now. Again, I'm taking some shots on some guys that I probably shouldn't, but I'm playing more just a GPP risky lineup. So, um, but yeah, we got 2 minutes until lock. So thank you, DK. Good luck tonight. Yeah, of course, man. Any last minute questions? Go ahead and throw them in. Wow, my lineup is so gross. I have two of those cheap Atlanta guys in. That's disgusting. I just gotta hope they get me 15 to 20. Thank you as always. Yeah, of course, man. Happy to do it. We can go over some ownership here in the early games. Once it loads up, it always takes about a minute or so. Praying for no blowouts, too. Again, still tilting about that Mavs blowout last night. Because I had both Kristaps and Luka. Again, guys, Kristaps will have his minutes monitored, which does worry me a little bit, honestly. Like, I don't think he's going to play 35 minutes. I think he probably gets around 30 in a close game. All right, so let's take a look at the $40 single entry I'm in. All right, see, I'll take this all day. I got Giannis at 3% owned. I knew it. I'll take that. I will take the shot. I know, again, the masses are going to go Luka, but a 3% owned Giannis, I'll take it all day. So let's see about in the $12 tournament. Giannis is 5%. Hey, I will take that all day. Again, if Giannis goes nuts, I'm going to have a really, really good night. I just put together the filthiest line. It's either going to go nuclear or fizzle harder than Jimmy Fallon's weaker. Let's see if we got any other ownership here. Steve Mikhailuk, 25%. Okay. Again, you don't feel great about Diallo's 20%. My issue with Cheek Diallo was you just don't know what what his minutes going to be like. He's probably going to be in the rotation. He could play 10 to 15 minutes, or he could play like 25. D Rose came in at 2%. I don't mind that. Again, this is the $40 single entry. Blake Griffin at 13. Andre Drummond at 14. So yeah, those guys were okay, right? Just because their price is 8.9 for Drummond, 6.6 I think for Blake. Booker at 1%, Fournier at 3%. Man, I'm pretty excited about a 3% owned Giannis. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. If the game stays close, could be a good night for me. Brown Jr. 1.6. Yeah, that's pretty solid as well. Wow, Giannis only 5%. Jeez, yeah, exactly. Just because, again, I think everyone's going to play Luka, everyone's going to play Donovan Mitchell, and everyone's going to play Damian Lillard. I think that's how a lot of people are going to construct their lineups, which I think is a pretty safe way to go. But again, I'm taking a riskier approach, and I'm playing Giannis, and I'm going to take some shots and some scrubs. I up my Giannis ownership because of your call, money night, LOL. Yeah, so I think if that game stays close, Giannis could crush. We'll see. He's really low owned, so let's hope for a good night from him. But I think I'm going to hop off here, guys. So really appreciate all you guys coming to check out the live stream. I'll have a video up. Let's see what the Thursday slate looks like. I'm guessing it's going to be a smaller slate, so we have 10 games tonight. We got 4 games, so still an okay size. I'll have that video up later tonight, probably with the showdown slate for the Thursday night football. I'll probably have both those videos up tonight, so be on the lookout for that. But thanks again, everyone, for coming to check the live stream. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.